It's 8:30. I'll open up the August 15th County Commissioners meeting. First item on the agenda is public comments. Mr. Babson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. A couple of things. First, on the minutes, since you'll be in your own meeting when it comes to the minutes, I would like to suggest that since we're very descriptive about the situation and me asking Commissioner Kenny why she didn't attend, I would like my remarks put in here as well as the rest of it, and that was by skipping the meeting, I didn't feel she was doing her job. The second thing I have, I believe this is the third week that Mr. Rich will be looking for answers to, or proof to substantiate Commissioner Kenny's charges that he charged the county thousands and thousands of dollars. The first week her proof was downstairs. The second week her proof was downstairs. This is the third week, and this seems to be a problem with this board. Things continue to fester. I would like to suggest that you ask Commissioner Kenny to make 3 copies of her proof, one for you, one for Commissioner Solomon, and one for Mr. Rich. And if we can afford it after all these lawsuits and investigations, maybe 1 copy for the desk for the public to look at, and get this thing over with. Having the papers, either she has the information to substantiate her charges or she doesn't, and let's get these things done and move forward.
Tim Thomas, and he's from where?
He's a member of the Sheriff's
Oh,
Department.
he works at the Sheriff's Department. Oh, okay.
People
Was
outside
that-
of county employment don't have the ability to file grievances. It doesn't.
Oh, okay. Was there anyone else then that filed a grievance or a complaint?
We had any number of grievances filed against the commission or against department heads, as have you. I mean, that's part of the business of the county.
And I think I agree with your point that non-public information shouldn't be leaked out, and there is a lot of non-public information leak out. You have, like last week, somebody coming here describing precisely what was in certain sets of minutes. And that is non-stop information here leaking out.
I don't have the September 14th minutes. You have those in a log file.
I believe I gave you a list last
I
week.
do, and I look at it, I look at 6, and it was okay.
Well, I think the whole point was so that we could look at it and see what we could release. It's time that they're not even okay, they haven't even been okayed by the board.
That is what you are saying, but how is it signed then, if it is not okay?
I'd like to see them, please.
What you have here is a draft. You don't even, this is not even the...
That's what I'm saying.
This, what you have here is a draft.
That's what I'm saying.
This is not even approved and
That's what I'm
signed.
saying.
This is a draft makeup. You don't even have the good corrected one.
Exactly. That's exactly my
You cannot
point.
release a draft.
That's exactly my point.
Just a couple quick things. Wanted to inform the commissioners about what's been going on in the farm. We've been picking lots of vegetables in the garden. It's come along pretty good. One of the big things that's happened, so we had a lightning strike hit one of our poles out here a couple weeks ago. We kind of got an idea of when it happened. We didn't know exactly that it happened at first. I went down to the pig barn and noticed that the lights weren't really working. They were like a real dim, and so we started investigating the situation. I reported on having this motor that we took out to have rebuilt had problems.
Yeah.
Found out we had power issues out there. Well, both of these power issues come from the same source, and so we called the electrician out, because we called PSNH, and they said, well, if we come out and there's not a problem, you're going to get charged a lot of money. So we called the electrician to verify it first. He did some testing, and we start looking around. Normally there's fuses that drop open like a gate and they're hanging. There was nothing hanging. We got closer and looked. It blew the fuse right out of the thing. It was laying on the ground in the grass.
Mr. Babson,
Yes, ma'am.
previously you had requested numbers on the potential savings to the county by the insurance committee's decision to go with New Hampshire Interlocal Trust and Harvard Pilgrim rather than with Local Government Center.
Right.
I told you I did have some numbers for you.
Yes, ma'am.
I went ahead and submitted those to New Hampshire Interlocal Trust. They have a very nifty little program that draws up a pretty little spreadsheet that I can certainly provide a copy to you of. But the results of the numbers that I gave to them indicated that overall the savings to the county by the insurance committee's decision was in the neighborhood of $149,071.43 over the course of the contract.
Wow.
Say that again.
$149,071.43.
$149,000.
Now, that does indicate the entire premium, not just the county's cost. The county does have an 80-20 split, which I think is a fairly industry-wide standard. There are some exceptions to that, of course. But that would bring that figure down to roughly $120,000 over the life of the contract.
So the 149,000, excuse me, sorry, T.
Go ahead.
The 149,000 is the savings overall, 80% of that is the figure you're quoting.
That's correct.
Thank you.
I guess what I'd like to do now is I'd like to bring up the position of HR. We've had a number of 20 applications for that position. The committee narrowed it down to 5. We interviewed 4, if I'm correct. And we
Actually,
did,
interviewed 5.
we interviewed 5.
4 at one time and 5. And the
Okay,
fifth.
that's right, we had 1 left. And the committee recommended a person from Senator Conway. So, do any of the commissioners have comments regarding that position? It was recommended, that person was recommended by the committee that looked at all of the candidates. And after interviewing, they still wanted to go with this person from Senator Conway. So what is your privilege?
Service.
Okay, you had another question.
Yeah, I did have another question. Last week, we had 2 gentlemen in regarding a homeless shelter. And I was just wondering if we should proceed with this, if the delegation agreed and we should proceed with this, would you be able to supply food for them at a price? Would you be able to supply food for them?
Yeah, the short answer is yes, we can,
Okay.
from the existing, facility that we have at Mountain View.
Oh, straight from there. Interesting. Okay, good.
Yeah, I mean, I would recommend that since we're producing and satelliting, to the Department of Corrections, picking up, another satellite would not be, taxing on us now.
They're talking about 58, they were talking about 58 people
Okay.
last week.
My nephew runs a partnership, runs in New York City, the Partnership for the Homeless, and he believes that all homeless, there should not be shelters, there should be permanent housing. But the concept that we're dealing with here is that people have to be able to learn to work, get off drugs, get off alcohol, before they can make themselves ready for a project like this. So the idea is to go to the first step, which is a shelter for everyone.
We'll open it up to public comment again, all over the place. Go ahead.
Oh, the homeless shelter. I went to my welfare officer and our police department, and they don't know of any homeless people in Ossipee per se.
Okay.
They gave me a list of homeless shelters, and most of these
in Carroll
homeless
County?
shelters, they are divided into emergency, or pregnant teenagers, or battered women's. The transitional ones are transitional ones where a family is displaced, they come and then they move on. They are in places like Nashua, Manchester, Hudson.
Big cities.
What's the difference between Ossipee and these places? They have sidewalks to walk to a business or to training.
Mhm.
My 22-year-old daughter talked to me about it. She said, Mom, how many people in Ossipee don't even have their GED? Why don't they change it into a tech system? To go to college anywhere here, you've got to drive for an hour or an hour and a half. So where's the infrastructure for these people to get a job or to walk on sidewalks?
May I answer that?
Because it's a monumental thing we're trying to do here.
Yeah. From my standpoint, I would have to think about it a lot more than what I have, but I don't see the county running that facility. I see it being private, some other group doing that. I don't see taxpayers' money from the county viewpoint going into that facility for the sheltered people. It's got to come from some other source. I don't know how that would be worked out as to the building, the facilities, sold to a private, rented to a private, or whatever. I don't know how that's going to work out, but I don't see the county commissioners responsible for that building housing people that need housing or other things that they need. Okay.
Point of order.
Yes, go ahead.
Are you saying that he cannot read this if he wishes to, or
Say that again.
are you saying that he cannot read this, or is it only up to him? Because I would like to hear this read.
What's the privilege of the
I
board?
think if he wants to read it,
Oh,
I mean, he
I'll-
handed it to
I'll read it,
us, I think
sure.
he can read it.
I mean, it's just a point of view.
I mean, it's his time, it's public input.
Go ahead.
Okay. Can you handle the truth? The attempt to refurbish the old nursing home wings for human occupancy would be a waste of effort, time, and millions of dollars. Think of it as throwing your money into a relentless wishing well that gives nothing in return. There are only 3 reasonable choices for the spent wings. Tear the wings down as planned. Keep some of the wings for county non-heated storage space. 3, have county storage plus operate a public rental space, non-heated, managed through the Carroll County Farm Director. The leaking roofs on the wings need to be replaced. Asbestos and dated insulation material, floor tiles, and any mold needs to be removed and disposed of. The plan to date is for the county taxpayers to become the landlord. All current federal, state, and local requirements, safety, health, building, plumbing, handicap, and antiquated electrical system will need upgrades. Air conditioning, energy-efficient windows, and many electrical outlets added. I believe regulations will require complete separation of different groups of proposed clientele, therefore creating separate living spaces, kitchen and dining room, 4 more kitchens and dining room areas. The heat and hot water will be provided 100% by propane gas boilers. Then there's the big bucks, operating expenses, managers, clerical workers, health care providers, 24/7 security, linen service custodians, on and on. The renters hope they can find $1.3 million to upgrade the building. They also know that the roof currently leaks. Roof patch repeatedly over the years. Yet they say for now the roof could just be patched as needed. This is not a wise choice, which brings concern to the whole idea. If this multi-million-dollar project is allowed to go forward, my crystal ball indicates within 3 years, the commissioners will put forth a proposal that the Carroll County taxpayers take over the full operating cost of this project. Please think of this before you leap. In direct response to the homeless situation, have a board keep seeking answers while continuing with the current protocol of the voucher system for room and meals. Maybe expand the idea to a trust fund supported by private and public funds. The homeless get needed services. It adds money to the local economy and gives the state room and meals income tax. Win, win, win for everybody. Dana Street, Osprey, New Hampshire.
Well, Mr. Street, as long as you've read it, and I hadn't read it prior to this, quickly I would just say, number one, heat and hot water will be provided 100% by propane and gas boilers. That's not true.
I think it is.
We have a pellet boiler system.
It's
which
not set up to go to
It
the
is
wings.
set up
Yeah,
to
it
go.
is, it is.
It is
It's set up to heat the old nursing home building.
Okay, I was
It's
told.
tied into the old furnaces.
I was told it wasn't, that all that
No.
goes directly over.
Okay.
No.
No.
Thank you for clarity.
And I don't know why 4 more cooking areas and dining areas would be necessary when they're asking for the use of the core building for that.
If you find you have to separate groups of people.
That's right.
I don't know. I don't know.
Well, me either, but
It's food for thought. I'm
Yeah.
glad you did it, and I welcome anybody else's input into this facility, whether it's used for homeless, veterans, co-op extension, or whatever other use of it.